Hey guys, it's Carlos from the We're Just Fans podcast. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm joined, of course, by the one and only Poppy. Let him know what's up, Poppy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hopefully I won't get kicked out this time.
And of course, we got the one, the only, Ríos. Let him know what's up, Ríos.
Thank God.
Who is this guy? He wasn't there Sunday. We had a completely different guy.
Seriously, I'm actually let me go with Poppy's point. I'm glad there's only one. Because imagine if there were two or more of this guy.
Man, all right.
I couldn't, bro.
The worst. Anyway,
he's on.
Yeah. So Ríos, how you doing, bud?
Feeling pretty good. All
right, we're definitely gonna get into our little shenanigans a little later in the podcast from our trip to the DFW. But first, let's talk a little. Yeah. First of all, let's talk and see how Poppy. Where you been, man? We only see you on Tuesdays now.
Barely, man. It's work's a bitch, man. What can I say? But
he's a hardworking man right there.
I'm trying to keep up with everything. I saw you guys were in the spaces on Twitter.
Yeah.
Before the Sunday game, I was at work, but I tried to join in and listen for a little bit. You guys were talking to some Texans fans and all that, so I thought it was pretty cool. Hopefully, we can do some more of those in the future, and hopefully, I'll be able to join more. But yeah, man, it's just working, man. Just working.
Yeah,
we sent you the invite. It's on Sunday.
Yeah, he works on Sundays. But yeah, now that you brought it up, thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, we have another one this Sunday at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, right before Zeke. Thanks to the folks at Wager Wire for helping us with those. Thank you guys very much. And we'll be talking again this Sunday about some of the Texans things, almost kind of like what we are going through today. But we'll shed a little bit more light. Man, we had a really good little discussion last week. It got heated towards the end, right? With two fans. I was like, I don't want it to end, but I was like, I don't want to. I know Zeke's coming up, and we got to cut it. But it was really good. It was a good time. So before we start today's show, I do want to give a shout out. We were supposed to have a guest today, our old buddy Jeff, but things happen in life. And Jeff, let's just we won't get into detail about what it is, but Jeff. Just know we're here for you, buddy. We love you, and we'll have you back in, brother. You're in our thoughts today, and we'll dedicate this podcast today for you. Okay, hopefully it's not too bad, but it's for you today, buddy.
Can't promise.
Yeah, no promises, but it's for you, okay, bud. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk a little bit of Texans. All right, so the Texans this weekend. Let's talk about NFL Week 15. The Texans this weekend go against the Kansas City Chiefs. I wanted to give the little extra silence and see how we reacted to that, boys. How we doing? So just to be clear, no Dameon Pierce for this week, and then perhaps next week he has a high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
So if things couldn't get worse for the Texans, here they are. So
Rex Burkhead offense.
Yeah. So basically the only offensive weapon we have out.
Yeah.
Against one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So
I'm gonna need the Houston Texans to send me a gift card for Specs for like $100 because I'm gonna need that.
I don't think 100 is gonna be enough, man.
Probably not.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess. That Sunday is gonna be a showdown. It's usually, it's funny because I used to think that, oh man, the Kansas City Chiefs and Texans are gonna go out. It's gonna be a game back when we had,
back when we were like somewhat competitive. Yeah.
When we were competitive, I was like, oh, this is going to be the showdown. And now it's just like, I see it. And I'm like, all right, we're going to get murdered. It's not even close. Yeah. It's a mess. I'm dreading it. Now I will say this though, I don't think it's going to happen today, but I think it's going to happen with a double quarterback thing. I actually kind of like that, but I feel like you can only get away with it for so long.
Yeah. It gets too predictable too quick because
eventually they see Driscoll out there. They know it's either going to be a quarterback draw or a running play. Like he didn't throw it enough for them to put any type of fear of there's going to be a pass.
Yeah, every time something like that worked is because they weren't really expecting it. But the more that we did it, it's not like they were ever worried, with that kind of stuff.
From all the reports I read, the Cowboys, they practiced all week preparing for Davis Mills. They were not expecting to see Driscoll at all.
Preparing for Davis Mills? What are you preparing for? Like,
it's for 5 minutes, but no.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's what happened. I think like that was one of the biggest things that I took away from it. I was like, when I saw that happening, I was like, oh, I hadn't seen this before. So I was pretty sure that the Cowboys were stunned at having a quarterback like Driscoll. Now I got to give a lot of credit to Driscoll though. Like Driscoll did. He's very elusive runner. Like even that touchdown he had with Chris Moore, man, not Chris Moore. I'm sorry, Rogers was
Rogers,
really good.
Like
Like
the flick of the wrist and 40 yards touchdown. I was like, what?
Boom.
So let's talk about that because as I was watching, because I wasn't able to watch the game live. Obviously, I was working, but I was able to catch the highlights and some extended highlights here and there, and it looked like a way closer game than it had any right of being.
Oh, it was. The Cowboys fans that were at the game, like they all were like, "Man, you guys gave us a scare." Like they were legitimately stunned.
And that's something that we mentioned last time. Like we all knew we were going to lose, and some of us thought we were going to lose worse than others. But I remember me saying I'll take a close game. I know we're going to lose, but I'll take a close game. I'll take an entertaining game, and it really was. And I don't know if it was to Dallas. I guess they just weren't expecting us to give any fight at all. I mean, we just caught them off guard. Or if there is actually something to the offense and more so the defense. I thought the passing defense at least, was very solid. Was very, very solid.
Mm-hmm. And that's without Stingley. That kept us in the game.
Without Stingley, too. And then you had mentioned something in the group chat last week, man, whether or not it was a good call to take Stingley in the draft over the Sauce, right?
Yeah.
With the injuries that he's been having, like, is that something that we should be concerned, you think? I feel like it's still too early, but
it's a little concerning right now. But again, it's early. But I mean, Sauce, he looks generational, right? Like he's just shutting everybody.
He does. It makes you wonder. It makes you think whether or not we really messed that one up.
But then again, it's also the scheme. Like they play him to his strengths. He's a cover corner. They put him in, a lot of man on man versus Stingley. They're playing him in cover too, like where you basically in a zone. Like that's not his strength. He's a shutdown corner. Like he's a man to man.
But he's still impressive.
He's still playing well. Don't get me wrong. He's still playing well, but he's not playing in his natural position as far as being a cover corner. He's basically having to focus on a zone versus focusing on shutting down the top receiver on the other team, which I think is his strength. Like, come on, this guy went against Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson in practice every day at LSU. Like, he can do it. He just needs to be put in the right position to do it.
Yeah, hopefully next year we can start doing some of that, like playing to our players' strength. Hopefully with the draft picks that we do next season, we'll have a better look at what the team is going to look like for next year. But going back to the whole game thing, I know you guys were there. Obviously, me watching the highlights, I already know the score, I already know what's going to happen. You guys watching it live, with all the fans around you guys, was there any point where you really thought we were going to come away with the win? Because we were winning at halftime, and we were winning going into the fourth.
Yes.
Did you guys actually think, and were you guys disappointed at the end?
No. The best thing, dude, is like you walked in thinking that they were going to lose, like knowing that they were going to lose. So you went in with the notion of, man, we're going to get dropped today. Like I thought it was going to be a beatdown, and it wasn't. And as a team, probably by I want to say 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, I was like, oh my God, they actually might walk away with this one. They actually might do it. And I wasn't the only one feeling this way. My cousin Robert was feeling that same way too. And not just us, like Cowboys fans around us, around where we were. We did standing room because that was actually a lot more fun. We did standing room, and I just remember like seeing, I mean, I was just messing with fans and they were messing with me too. It was a lot of, be honest with you, it was a lot of fun.
It was friendly. Surprising.
It was very friendly. It almost felt like a family reunion. You know what I mean? Like it felt like a family reunion in the holidays where you got your family member wearing one jersey and you got the other family member wearing another jersey and you're just talking smack back and forth. But it's all like love. It's all, I'll give the Cowboys. Yeah, it's all jokes and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you realize, hey, we all got our problems. We basically bonded with other fans based on the problems that we both have. And a lot of the similarities that a lot of fans talked about their team and ours was we like to shoot each other in the foot. We like to shoot ourselves in the foot. We have plays that can be made. We have the talent. However, what happens? You shoot yourself in the foot. and then you make bad mistakes, and they're not just random mistakes; they're costly mistakes. I'll give you an example. Do you basically? There was one particular play where I think they had Driscoll run it, and it could have sealed the deal for the Texans. I feel like they could have gotten away with it, but it was a fourth down play. Driscoll didn't make it, and then the Cowboys took over on downs.
Was that like right at by the red zone?
I think I think it was like
they got the fourth down stop, and then the next drive the Cowboys scored and basically sealed it.
Yeah.
Do you think we should have gone for the field goal at that point? Because we were ahead at that point.
They should have.
It's a possibility.
I feel like going for it on fourth. I know it was, we could have scored obviously, but you're talking about a top 5 defense. Like right in front of you. Like, was that really the right call? Because we've talked and we talked about it. We talked in the beginning of the season. Ríos was mentioning this a lot. We were losing a lot of very winnable games. I feel like this was actually a very winnable game.
It was.
Going into the fourth with a 3-point lead, I believe. Like, the defense was gas. Pierce was gas. That's why he fumbled,
high ankle sprain.
Exactly. Like, I feel like the whole defense had just been working so hard that game to keep us in the lead. The offense surprised me. I would say that. The play calling was a little bit more creative this time around.
First half, second half, it was.
And there were actually times where Mills was actually like throwing the ball, which I was surprised.
He had a really good throw. Yeah, he had a really good throw, I think, to Chris Moore.
Yeah, I think was that like a 40-yard or something?
It was like a sideline catch, and I think they had to review it a little bit. But it was, I gotta admit, I'll give credit to Mills on that one. That was a really good throw.
Well, like now,
look at Ríos. Look at Ríos like getting mad. Like,
I don't think now he has nothing to lose. I feel like the fan base has already turned on him a lot. So like any good thing he does for us now is like, oh, okay, at least
Yeah. No, agree. And honestly, he had that. He did have some plays that were good, and obviously there were some plays where like you held on to the ball a little longer and you got sacked, kind of a thing. The O-line,
again, we're talking about top 5 defense as well. So
right. I gotta say, even with the top 5 defense, one of the things that I was talking to Ríos on the way back from Dallas, or Arlington, whatever, DFW area, the fact that Micah Parsons got completely shut down by our offensive line. Tunsil took care of that. We saw tape. We saw some tape that was posted on Twitter, and we saw, man, Laramie Tunsil, like, he gets a lot of heat for the penalties or whatever, but a lot of people don't understand that he takes care of the guys on defense that really need to be taken care of. Again, I didn't hear much of Micah Parsons on Sunday.
I didn't know.
If anything, I was like, wait, is Micah even playing? And no disrespect to Micah. Micah's like a heck of a player, but the fact that he was a non-factor that game, I thought that was amazing.
Well, it wasn't not just Tunsil, like they're scheming, like they would line up guys to chip him a little bit, and then Tunsil would, just hold them in line, like not let them get anywhere near the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
so the scheme and like Tunsil, it was top notch that game. Like they did their job. Unfortunately, the offense couldn't do their job in the second half. Man, 3 points, that's not enough to beat the better teams in the NFL.
Correct, but the fact that they scored 20 or whatever on the first half was impressive enough. And I thought they again. Very winnable game, but at the end of the day, something we've talked about all season long. Like when it comes to the fourth quarter,
you can't finish.
We just can't really finish the job.
No, it was, but man, nonetheless, I got to tell you, that had to be, in the overall big picture, that had to be one of the best games I've ever been to.
Oh, well, no. So let me ask you: has that been our best performance of the season so far?
Yes, by far.
Definitely, right? Even though we went basically scoreless in the second half. And
that's the thing, though. It comes down to predictability, because they knew that the Cowboys were going to look at Davis Mills tape. So what do? They throw in Jeff Driscoll. Jeff Driscoll hasn't played all season, has he? Or am I wrong here? Yeah, he hasn't played all season. It's been Mills, and then let's throw in Kyle Allen for a little bit. Yeah, let's bring in some Kyle Allen, and now let's put in some Jeff Driscoll. Now we got there a little later. And then we saw Jeff Driscoll, which is like, wait, what happened to Mills, right? Until we were like figuring out.
Wait, you got somewhere late, Carlos?
Oh, course.
All right.
No
Yeah, exactly.
way.
No, I'm always early.
You're always early to everything.
I'm always early
Most
to
punctual
everything.
human being on this planet.
I'm very punctual. You have to schedule me 3 hours in beforehand because I'll
You gotta
show
give
up.
them the wrong time. You got them there late.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, things are a day early.
a day early. Yeah, no, exactly. No, but it was we got there and then finally like we're wondering like, wait, Driscoll's in. As we're walking into Cowboy Stadium, we're like, why is Driscoll in? And then as we saw it happen, I was like, oh, Mills is in. So I think they're doing like a QB switch. And I think the Texans had done that before, if I'm not mistaken, with Hoyer and Ryan Mallett years ago. Where they would switch them on and off or something like that. I can't remember. I know.
It obviously didn't work out.
It didn't work out, obviously. Like I said, it becomes predictable after a point. Like,
Well, they basically say if you have two quarterbacks, you have none, which
yeah,
obviously is the case. But no,
exactly.
I said a couple months ago, eventually we're going to see the Driscoll cat.
Yeah, you did say that. You did say that.
Driscoll cat.
But man, it was nonetheless though, it was a really fun time. It had to be one of the best games I've seen just because of, we went in with the expectation of the Texans losing. And not just losing, but like I'm talking about like getting decimated at that level. And then suddenly like the Texans are like keeping it competitive up until like the fourth quarter. So it made like it made
the last 4 minutes of the fourth.
Yeah, the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And it made a lot of
actually gave them a game, difference.
Yeah,
which is way more than any of us expected.
Yeah, exactly. And
even some of the Cowboys fans that we talked to last week, they were saying, "Oh, it's gonna be like a 40 piece from the Cowboys."
Yeah, exactly.
Spaces, one of the fans was saying, it's going to be a trap game for the Cowboys, and it kind of felt like it almost.
It was
a trap game.
I think she talked about how it was how do you call it? It was like I said, trap game, and then we didn't really believe it, but then she talked about how Lovey and the Cowboys, it's like a little rivalry that he has. Lovey always tries to beat the Cowboys in some way, shape, or form. And I think I saw that. I saw that they actually put like sounds weird, but like effort or like impressive performance on it because they really did their homework on this one. And I saw that this is like the first time I've seen the Texans this season take that type of initiative. Like it felt like they had motivation.
They were actually going for it, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't just passive, like, let's see how the game unfolds as we keep going. No, we were actually like we started off losing, and then we answer right back, and that's something I want to see. And I saw you, Carlos, you were tweeting during the game.
Yes.
And I saw you said something like keep feeding the ball to Pierce. That's something we've been talking, like the whole fan base has been talking about it all season long.
Yeah.
Like if you need a first down, you give it to Pierce.
And dude, and he was balling out that day too. He tucked over one of the Cowboys players, man.
There were some clips where he had like 3 Cowboys like on him, and he was still getting yards. He was still getting yards.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch till he got hurt. I'm like, oh, when he grabbed his ankle, like, no. Yeah.
But
I hit my breath a little bit, man.
It's this type of games though that like gives me some hope that in 3 years' time we can actually have an offense built around this.
Yes.
Yeah, there's pieces, but you need the most important position, quarterback.
It's still, and that's a non-negotiable. We need to get a quarterback. We've talked about this.
Yeah, no, exactly, dude.
Dude, Pierce, like with every game that he plays, like he just looks better and better and better.
Oh yeah, and he's already over 1,000 yards. So that is that's impressive within itself.
Even though Pollard got me more points.
Well, of course, yeah. Pollard, I started for sure Pollard because I have him on fantasy, and I was like, oh yeah, you're going against the Texans defense, yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about fantasy for a second. You know who got me 0 points, and that's why I lost?
Higgins. Because I got Higgins, and I got 0 points off of Higgins. Did you go to the playoffs or no? I was going to ask you. So, did you get to the playoffs?
So, if I would have won this week, I would have clinched it.
Yeah.
Now I gotta hopefully not lose this upcoming week.
Oh man!
Because I'm playing the guy above me, and the guy that's right behind me with my same record is playing like the guy in last.
Wow!
So I'm just like, oh my god!
I got knocked out already on points alone. I lost by like 3 points.
Yeah, and I lost the week by like 5. If Higgins would have done something.
Well, no, I had Debo and I had Jeff Wilson. Both of them get injured early on. Like, oh my god!
Dude, I had Lawrence and whatever the tight end for the Jacksonville is, and they both had 30 pieces. both of them,
Yeah.
and I have both on the bench.
Oh wow,
dude.
Yeah, I left Miles Sanders on the bench. 23 points. I started Nick Chubb over him. Nick Chubb got 8 points. Like,
hey, but Nick Chubb is the right call, bro. I would have.
It was a tough match. I was like, you know what? It's Nick Chubb.
Yeah, but
that one hurt. 3 points. 3 points cost me the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I saw Higgins on there, and he got me 0. I was like 0 points from Higgins. What
all you have to do is show up, bro.
Yeah,
like you get a point for raising your hand. Hey, I'm here.
Yeah. No, I'm right now. I think I went to 8-6. But what's crazy, it's not a record to brag about. I'm 8-6, and I'm in 5th place. So
you're still in the playoffs. So
yeah, no. 5th place is the top 4 because I'm using NFL. And so the top 4 on ours goes to the playoffs. So However, though, 1st place is also 8-6. 2nd place is 8-6.
Yeah, it's tied. Yeah, it's tied up at the top.
4th is 8-6. I'm 8-6. And so it's going to be
points alone, right?
Loses, it's going to rearrange the bracket. Yeah.
You could finish top by the end of the week.
I could literally finish top. Yes, exactly. By the end of it. So it all depends on this week. And I'm projected to win by like 20 points.
I'm projected to win by 1%. So, like I am.
You're saying there's a chance.
Pissing my pants right
You're
now.
telling me there's a chance.
Barely.
Yeah.
Well, my other league,
Last week, I was projected to win by 30%. And Higgins got me 0 points.
Yeah.
Well, my other league, I'm in 1st place, but it's like still like this is the one I wanted to win because the money,
of course,
the money and the money.
Anyway, but keep telling me about the game. How was it?
The game itself was amazing. Ríos drank like crazy. I don't know how he does it. This man, I don't know how he did it. So let's start off with Saturday. We get there on Saturday. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I like how he tells us to tell me about it and then he leaves. Just no, I'm kidding. And so he ends up. We ended up showing up on Saturday.
Win something, I think.
Yeah, like we're on 1, whatever it was. And so we go to Duchess to eat. I apologize. We actually finished the France game. We were watching the France game in the World Cup.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Like, I actually thought it was, gonna go extra time, maybe penalties.
Yeah,
I know it's England. Yeah. They're gonna screw it up somehow.
Yeah, they just like the Texans, they just shot themselves in the foot.
Basically, yeah. And so
years.
Mm-hmm. And so we ended up we finished watching the game, and then we ended up going to Duchess, which is a restaurant over there at TCU. Really, really, really good burgers. Ríos had never been. We took them. Ríos liked it, I assume, right, Ríos?
Oh, it was delicious.
Yeah, it was really good burger. So definitely, it's a must place that we got to go to. Us 3 one day when we go back.
It's a must place.
It's a must place that we need to go to. I give it 5 stars. That it was great. No, and so no, it was really good though. It was really good. We've been there before.
With the college kids, I looked like their age. I'm like, man, little younger than me. Just some person.
Little do they know that Ríos built that school.
I'm on the original posters with the leather helmets.
Your name is in one of the bricks.
He's in the leather helmet posters that they had from the 1930s. Yep, exactly. They did have one, by the way, from the 1930s, like one of their original posters. They were like games were like 5 cents or something like that to show up. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. He remembers that. He
remember. He was there.
I was Al Bundy.
Yeah, he was the Al Bundy of that time. Yeah. There you go. Polk High, baby, Polk High. No, and so we went to Duchess, then we went to a few bars down in the Fourth Ward area, and it was cool. Like Ríos outdrank everybody, of course.
I mean, that's a given.
And so I'm not too much. I'm really not. But Ríos ended up pre-gaming and then there
post-gaming.
Yeah, post-gaming
during the game.
During the game, yeah, he was all over the place. And so then we go to, I think it was the White Elephant Bar. I think that's what the bar itself was pretty cool. We met up with a few friends there from Houston, and so it was pretty cool.
Now, what I love, there was a lot of Houston people out there, like a lot.
There was a lot. Is
that where you guys took the picture?
No, We the picture. No, I don't think we took any pictures there. It was over there in the stockyards, Fort Worth stockyards. So we were there, and it was a pretty cool place. Then after that, we kind of went home, but we went home kind of early because we were trying to wake up because we had to do the spaces at like 9 for wager wire. It was a pretty cool place, but nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. We went, we did our spaces, we recorded with Robert, we went live, we tried doing the live feature, and so that was pretty cool. So I had a lot of fun. You what?
I started the morning off with the Modelo at 9 a.m.
Yeah,
as you should.
As you should.
With lime, right? If you put lime, it's breakfast.
Yeah,
it's breakfast of champions.
Yeah, you need that. And so there was that, and so it was pretty cool. I mean, overall the ambiance was great. Then we go to the game, and then we go to the game, we have our fun, and then we come back, and then it's time to go to sleep. We watched the Dolphins game, and so that was interesting. We went to Texas Live before that, by the way. There's a place called Texas Live. It was packed, and
we
apparently
saw wake up and the guy get arrested. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was yeah. A lot of things happened that day. Yeah, and so we ended up. It was a lot of fun. Again, we went back home, and then Monday we're supposed to leave super early. Don't look at me like that. So we were supposed to leave super early, and then
I was surprised because don't you guys work Monday?
I worked Monday. He did not.
Yeah.
Oh, you asked for the day? Oh, you lucky that.
Here's what happened. Somebody lost his car keys and had to call a locksmith.
Oh, you're an idiot. I'm so glad I wasn't there. I'm so glad I wasn't there.
And so that
imagine me. I had to text my boss at 6:30 in the morning. I had to text the owner at 6:30.
Hey, sir, I'm sorry, I'm stuck in Dallas because
I was like, these are my exact words. So
here's the best part. I was the sober one. I just misplaced my keys.
Of course you did, bro.
I had to text him. There was an incident. I'm going to be a tad bit late. A tad bit late. It was about almost 6 hours.
Did you even show up to work?
I did.
I was just
for like 2 hours.
Hey, man,
I was there for like 3 hours and I sold the car. So it worked out, man.
All right, so you got something out of it.
I guess.
Yeah, it's I have to call the locksmith, and locksmith. I swear, like the locksmith is like, this guy. And so I ended up, we ended up getting my car. We finally drove, but
so did you not? Did you not find your keys ever?
No, never did. I don't know what happened to him.
That wasn't even the worst part. We almost got kidnapped at one point.
Oh, that was your fault, kind of.
Right,
okay, so this is what happened. Okay, let's
I almost got us kidnapped.
I totally forgot about that. So this dude here, we're walking, we're trying. You know how when you have like an Uber and there's like a lot of people there, so like at a sporting event, so you try to walk farther to get the cheaper price.
Yeah.
So you can go down a little bit. So
that's my plan.
That was a plan, and then there's a guy there just with like his cell phone that says Uber, like just flashing.
Okay.
And he's like,
he had to sign in his van.
He had to sign in his van too. It's not, and then so he's like, all right. And so he's like Uber, and Ríos is like, yeah. And so I was like, yeah, Uber. And so he's like, Ríos ends up getting the Uber, but the guy asked him like, all right, what's your Venmo or whatever. And so he's like, it's gonna be this much to take you to Fort Worth. And I think we were like, what he said, 22. And then he like started complaining about like how it was like 22 miles instead of 15, like they had told him or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. But he's like, we'll take you anyway. So he took us. And then the whole ride home was scary. This dude was swerving. Like he was going 90. It felt like I felt like for like a quick second, I heard the song by Ludacris, Move. Like in my head, because he was swerving on the highway, and
he didn't turn the how they usually have the phone on. There was no phone. I was like,
he's just going on pure instinct.
no, like how you log into the phone and you pay the driver. We didn't do that.
Not at all. No. Was it all cash?
No, it was
Venmo.
Okay, Venmo, yeah, Venmo.
But
was this guy really even an Uber?
It wasn't through the Uber app. I'm pretty sure he got that sign off of Amazon or something.
Probably. Yeah.
Again, drunk me. This seemed like a good idea. It's quick. He's right there. And
the terrible.
They went with it, so they should have stopped me. But no,
you guys would have woken up in Mexico.
we were just done. We were tired, and then we ended up. We get there, like 5 minutes later what it felt like, because this dude was hauling down the street, down the freeway, down I-20 or whatever it was. And so we finally get there, whatever, right? And we're starting to watch the game. Dude gets out of his car, knocks on the door of our cousin's house. And he's like, dude, did you even pay me? And Ríos is like showing him, like, yeah, I paid you. Like, it's right here. And he's like, well, I didn't get it. And he's like, well, that's your fault. Like, that's on you. You trying to scam me for more? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, all right, tell him, Ríos. Tell him your side of it.
Yeah. Like, I want to say when he asked me to send it to Venmo, like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. But I mean, at that point, he like took off. I already, moving. Like, yeah, I'm not jumping out in the middle of a freeway. Whatever. I'll take my chances.
So did you pay him or what?
Well, I kind of had to at that point. Doing 90 on the highway, like
he earned that shit.
Yeah.
How much was it?
It was $70.
Regular Uber would have probably charged him about 40.
Yeah.
I would have walked. Fuck that.
Well, when you're going 90 down the highway, it's kind of hard to, jump out. I enjoy living.
Tuck and roll.
It wouldn't have worked on the highway. I was like, man, we're about to get like, kidnapped or, sold into some type of, ring or whatever. Like, I was legitimately, I don't get scared easily, but I was legitimately scared. Like, man.
I mean, you were drunk too, right? So it's like,
yeah, I sobered up real quick then.
You sweat it all out.
He woke up real fast. The first thing he says when he got into the house is like, do you guys have more beer? Dude.
And you were still the one that lost the keys, bro.
Oh yeah, and I was still the one that lost the keys. That's the best part about it. That's the best part about that story. I'm still the one that lost the keys.
Sure, I almost got us kidnapped and sold into slavery.
But at least I didn't lose my keys.
I didn't lose the keys.
Yeah, no, that was a great story. Yeah, so that happened, and now we're home, and here we are.
Against all odds, we made it home.
Against all odds, we made it home. So that was their adventure to the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
So I never really been to the AT&T Stadium or whatever.
Honestly, well, I haven't been to a lot of stadiums. That's
Ríos, go for it. I was gonna say, talk to him about it because I had been to it a few times, but Ríos had never been to it up until this Sunday. So Ríos, let him know what you liked about it.
So like, I haven't been to a lot of opposing fan stadiums. So I was a little concerned about people being a little hostile, whatever, especially it being Dallas or whatnot. But now like it's there. Besides the people being friendly, like it's a huge stadium. Like there's so much to do. Like there's so much interaction. Like there's these things you can take pictures like with the players. It's a holograph or whatever. But there's that. There's all these things you can do as far as like at a fan level inside the stadium. We just don't have it in NRG. And then like after the game, there's a spot to hang out like with turf and bleachers and all this. It was a really cool experience. And honestly, like they have a lot of stuff I wish we had at NRG. Like they have so much fan interaction, and that's probably why they have such loyal fans. It's because
that probably the fact that they dominated the 90s.
But honestly though, like I saw a post. I
saw you talking on Twitter with some fans about it, Carlos.
Yes. So there was a post. I think Debbie the Texan posted, and by the way, I wasn't trying to be argumentative about it. It was just it was me posting it, and it was because she had asked the question, if what are some things that something along like what are some improvements the Texans can make or whatever, right? So I shared my experience or our experience really with the with what happened at the AT&T Stadium over there in Arlington. So from what I noticed, and again, I haven't been to the Texans game in about close to about a year or so. So I don't know if they had changed or not. But every time I remember leaving the stadium, it was always like they were rushing, like not rushing necessarily, but everybody was like out,
just trying to get out of the way,
go home, and like people would just party with the tailgates. But sometimes it's like everybody's just on their own thing, kind of a. And then, but I don't remember like when we went to Arlington, like everybody was still there. They were chilling. They were in the Miller Lite house is what they call it over there, and so. And it's a whole it's right in front of AT&T Stadium, and they have like a 70-yard turf field where a lot of the kids were.
I saw that. That looked pretty cool too.
It was really cool. And then they have like a bunch of screens. They have a live band playing or whatever. They have a lot of things there that was very like welcoming to the fan base. So I get it, and I think that that's something that we're missing. I know Debbie said, have you ever been to the Bud Light Plaza?" I have, but it didn't compare to that. And I think going forward, the Texans organization, if they want to keep drawing in more fans, I'm not saying necessarily copy the model, kind of am, honestly, but it's almost like you need to create your own thing where it's as big as this. Think about it this way. You have a lot of space where the Astrodome is. I'm not saying tear it down or anything, whatever you feel like, but there's a lot of areas.
There's things you can do, like
there's a lot of things that you can do to make it even. Yeah,
like the Astros do it. Like before the games, they have this, this fan appreciation event outside the game, outside the stadium before the game starts. Texans don't do anything like that, man. Like you show up, watch the game, and then you leave. That's it.
Yeah,
honestly, like they do stuff that's interactive for the fans. You can places to hang out, and Texans. Honestly, sometimes it feels like they don't give a shit about the fans. It's like, hey, pay for the tickets.
I mean, we know that. Man.
Pay for the tickets, and you know what? Whatever. Like it honestly feels like they don't care about the fans at all.
Yeah, and it's not.
Do you think that's something that we need? Really?
Of course. I think you need to have, at this point, you don't have much of a choice because there's not a lot of people showing up.
Honestly, but it's because we're playing bad football.
That too.
Competitive football. People were.
Look at the Cleveland Browns. They have been garbage for 60 plus years. They're always full.
But that's the thing. 60 plus years. They have history
of being terrible.
But it's generations of fans. His dad, his grandpa, his great grandpa type of thing.
Because again, they all I have family that lives in Cleveland. Like they do stuff like where they interact with the fans. Like they create that loyalty. Even if we're bad, they're still gonna show up.
Yeah, but they've had the time to focus on that kind of stuff. We're the youngest team in the league.
Well, yeah, but now wouldn't it be the best time to do it now that you have people not showing up? Like this would be.
Yeah, I just feel like that's not where my priorities would be if I was the organization. Like my priorities would be like.
Well, no, because Calvin McNair is busy making hamburgers once.
Well, no, the thing is this.
By the way, how was the food over there? You guys eat anything?
Yeah, the burgers, remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So no. What I'm saying is like I don't that shouldn't be like, that's more like a marketing thing. You know what I mean? Like, yes, the organization's there with what the players, with the players, that should be the main focus. But I think that you can, but also, how are you going to attract more fans too, though? Yes, by winning, obviously. However, what about those times? Because we know that it's going to take a while for the Texans to start winning again. So either A, you can make investments to make the fans show up and feel welcome to the stadium, or you can keep alienating the fans. Now, again, thankfully Jack's gone, and hopefully those are some changes moving on forward. Where they will welcome the fans. I mean, come on, there was a time when only season ticket holders were able to go to the training camps. How much of a message was that to send to your fans, saying, "Dude, only those that are privileged enough to buy the season tickets"? Yeah. Like that made no sense to me when that came out. I thought that was a horrible marketing decision for fans, and especially those who were loyal. I was disappointed because I used to go to training camps, and that year I was upset because I was like, I'm not a season ticket holder fan, but I'm still a loyal fan. I'll still go. And then after that, it was just a problem. It was just kept snowballing to make it a bigger problem. But like I said, hopefully the McNair family can see that, hey, maybe we should make this a little bit more entertaining. Maybe how can we make this more fan friendly? How can we do things? I mean, I hate to say it, almost like the Cowboys, where they can have fan interaction.
Because with them, it's like an event. Like it's an event. Like it's not just a game. It's like a all-day event. You could spend the whole day there, a whole event. With the Texans, you go to the game, and that's it, honestly.
Once it's over, it's over.
Well, unless you're me, you go to a bar afterwards. But, the regular person, it's just, go to the game and go home. But
yeah,
with the Cowboys, you could spend the whole day there. You can go tailgating early, go to the game, hang out at their little thing afterwards, go to Texas Live right next door. Like, it's a whole day event. And honestly, we're just lacking in that department, man. We just go to the game and go home. That's it.
It's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And you can see why there's so much fan engagement. I get it. It's they feel like it's home there. And I can see why. Yeah. I can see why. Still don't like the Cowboys, but I can see why. Like, you can see that.
Say it again.
Still don't like the Cowboys, but I can see why.
Oh, taking that picture of that jersey, my children.
Don't mention that.
My children, my grandchildren, future
Yeah,
generations.
what was that like? What was that like?
I don't know, but all I know is you got to wear something too with the Cowboy stuff. We didn't forget. We didn't forget, sir. You're part of this too.
I know. When I saw the picture, I was like, "Oh God!"
Exactly. That
like
blue and
Ríos
silver don't
actually
look
looks
good.
like he's like dying on the inside.
Oh, it was horrible.
I did.
Zeke said there's mugshots that look happy. Yeah, there was a Zeke
Carlos, yours actually looked like a mugshot for sure. You're just
mine?
mugging the camera, bro.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, that was yeah. I was like,
I was hoping like tears. I was hoping like legitimate tears. Like, God, why?
That was horrible. Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I need to figure it out because I mean, it's not like got my closet full of freaking Cowboys.
What you can do is you can go to Academy, have someone take a picture.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm
put
thinking.
it on, and then like that's it. Go to
and then
Academy,
cry and delete it forever.
Cry on your way home.
You're gonna wear a jersey. You wear a hat also because you deserve it. You missed out.
You did miss out. It was a lot of fun, but it was a good game. Probably one of the better games that I had gone to. But
I would definitely do it again.
And then we don't play him again for what? For 4 more years?
Until the next World Cup, sir.
That's also a mistake. I think a game like that, like people from Dallas come here when we play them, and vice versa. Like that's a mistake.
We should play him more often. It makes sense that
maybe not every year, but at least like every 2 years.
Every other year would be perfect.
It would be.
It would intensify the rivalry that much more.
Dude, like even the Cowboys fans were saying the same thing. Like we got to talking to people like, no, they should play more often. What's this whole once a year thing? I mean, you see them in preseason, but you know that doesn't count. Like
it's always a good game. The last like 4 or 5 years, they've been very close games.
Correct. Yeah, and so it's been it was a good experience overall. But yeah, I agree. They definitely need to be able to. They should be able to play at least more often. That's it. Not just the how do you call it, the every 4 years, because that doesn't make sense.
But every year would be great, but at least every other year that'd be. I mean, because come on, like you have the fan bases there, like they show.
It has to be every other year because every year, you get kind of like, it loses the charm a little bit, loses the magic.
Every other year, I can live with that.
Me too, definitely.
So if anyone from the NFL scheduling department is listening, hey,
we're talking to you, Commissioner.
That's right.
Only you.
You know, so important is listening. So hopefully, this mentions it through. We play them again in 2 years.
Yeah, no, but yeah, that's what it was. So all right, let's I found how do you call it? I do have replacement keys, so I'll keep you updated on that later on.
No, don't lose those.
No, don't lose them again. No, so now it's funny because I said it at the beginning, but let's talk about week 15. Chiefs versus Texans. How do we
mood, man? Like, why you gotta put me in a bad
mood? All right,
I
gotta dampen the mood a little bit.
Think about it. So if everything, like if we played similar to how we played this time, I know Pierce is gonna be out, but if we play with the same hunger and the same, aggressiveness, if everything goes right, we could actually walk away with a draw, dude. We could actually get a tie. Imagine.
No, if everything
What are you drinking right now?
Right? Are you drinking gasoline? Like, sir, what is that? If everything goes perfectly.
That's unleaded. It's unleaded.
If everything goes perfectly, maybe we lose by 50.
Freaking diesel. I mean, yeah, but it's week 15. Who really cares at this point?
The Chiefs do because they're trying to get home field.
Yeah. What's their standing right now?
It's them and the Bills fighting for home field at this point. Yeah. So they can't afford to drop any games. So they're going to take it as serious as possible. They can't afford trap games. They're going to them and the Bills. They're not going to take any. They're not going to take your foot off the grass, man. They're going to see who gets home field because it's only one team is home field this season. So
I feel like the Bills would need it more. I think the Chiefs can beat anybody anytime.
Yeah,
like if they really want to, they can beat anybody anytime. The Bills are a little bit more.
Well, not so much for the
historically
for the environment, but for the time off, honestly, because they got a lot of injuries.
Yeah,
even with all the injuries, Mahomes still putting up video game numbers. Like he's putting up better numbers than his MVP season a couple of years ago. Like it doesn't make any sense, honestly. Like how?
Dude, it's ridiculous. Like you cannot stop the guy sometimes. Like whenever he comes out there to play, it doesn't matter, like the blitz, freaking man coverage, anything, like nothing that any defense can throw at him.
Yeah.
Really, like
doesn't phase him. And he throws these passes from all these weird angles. Like, bro, it's like
dude, he could be falling backwards at the weirdest angle with his left hand, like all contorted, and he'll still throw a dime, 40 yards.
And he could be doing a handstand, throw 50 yards to Kelsey or to the the guy selling the hot dogs in the stand. Like, it's still like, who's out there. He's like Brady.
He's a playmaker, man. He's a playmaker, and every time I see him
play,
he
really can make anyone look good. And Mahomes is even better at it. Like, it's crazy. Like, you got this
it's art, dude. It's art watching him play.
It is. I as much as I hate to say, I love watching him play, man. He's just that's generational. Guys throw the word generational around a lot. No,
that's talent right there, dude.
That's generational.
Let me ask you something. Joe Burrow, after taking the Bengals to the Super Bowl last season, there was a lot of high hopes for him, and I feel like this season, even though the Bengals aren't like we know they're not going to make it that far again. Do you think Joe Burrow is like reaching that upper echelon of like
he is
elite quarterbacks?
He is.
Like we're talking about Mahomes.
There's only one QB with a winning record against Mahomes.
He's 3-0, right? Or 4-0?
3-0. He's beaten them every single time, including
and they're always great games too when they go against each other.
It's like when he plays Mahomes, he just takes it to another level. He's already elite, but he takes it to another level and plays Mahomes, man. It's just,
even with his O-line not being like nearly as good.
You're terrible. But
exactly, but he still makes the plays, dude. Like
that's gonna be a fun rivalry to watch for years to come, man. Those two, Josh Allen, Herbert, if he gets an actual, offensive line, like
and that's the thing though. I just don't trust the Bengals to actually build something around Burrow, like something like right,
I mean, they might. I mean, come on, look at what they did with that ragtag squad of offensive line. They made it to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of things went right for them,
Look who they beat. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Titans. They were one play away. They were one play away from beating the Rams in the Super Bowl. If he had half a second more before Aaron Donald sacked him, Jamar Chase blew by Ramsey. Like, I mean, it was like 12 yards of separation. If he made that throw, no one's catching him. Over. So
I can't wait. I can't wait for us to be talking about Bryce Young like this in a few years.
Oh yeah, I'm like, man, you see that throw with Bryce Young?
I can't wait.
He's a game changer. Generational talent.
Have any of y'all made any like mock drafts yet? I've been seeing a lot of mock drafts with Bryce. A lot of them have.
I have been looking
Bryce
at
Young.
some though, but
yeah.
I mean, not just the fans, but like even like the NFL experts. They're all Bryce Young number because
majority that I see is Bryce Young. Yeah, I've been seeing Bryce Young a lot. Like that's everyone that a lot of them that I've seen. Now there's some that have traded for a fourth round because a lot of them. Now hold on, really quick. Let me pose something that I've been seeing a lot lately as well. There are people out there. Now, whether you agree or disagree with them, their point has been that they want. You don't even know what I'm going to say. That they want to wait for Caleb Williams.
That is a mistake.
Okay, so tell me, Ríos, I'm going to start off with you because obviously you're very opinionated about it. Why do you think it's a mistake for Caleb Williams? Why should the Texans not wait to draft Caleb Williams?
That is a tremendous mistake. So let's look at the last few number one picks the Texans have had. We took Mario Williams over Vince Young. How did that work out? It did not work out well.
It didn't. Yeah, it didn't.
It did not at all. Honestly, I think if Vince Young would have came here, our fortunes would have turned around a lot faster. Then we have a number one again. 5 years later, we take Jadeveon Clowney. Again, a mistake. There was no quarterbacks worth that was a situation where you trade down because there was better players. Like they could have took Khalil Mack number one. That would have been a better pick, honestly, because Clowney had that one hit in college that blew him up and number one pick, and that was a huge mistake. And again, we're 8 years later, back again with a chance to pick a number one overall selection. Like you can't go defense again. It's just it has not worked the last two times. You got to go for a guy that's clearly is the guy at quarterback. Like he has made all the plays that he's a Heisman winner. He's beaten some of the best defenses. Like, come on, he lit up Georgia, and Georgia has like NFL level offensive talent, defensive talent. Excuse me, NFL level defensive talent. Like he lit them up. Like, come on. Sure, he's not that big, but you know what? He's going to work with world-class trainers. He can easily put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle. He doesn't depend on his legs to run. Now, if you want to wait, keep in mind, there's going to be 4 or 5 teams also that are going to tank on purpose to get Williams. So there's no guarantee they're going to trade with you. Like, oh, he's next Mahomes. That's cool. Like, so if you get the chance to get the next Mahomes, are you going to trade out of that? Like, it's stupid. They're not going to trade out of that pick. So then what are you going to do? Wait for Arch Manning in 2028? Like, wait for Andrew Luck's kid in 2032? Like, it's like, when does it end? Like, if
I wouldn't bet on Andrew.
to get the guy.
And, so, quick question: What about you? What about you, Poppy? What do you think?
Dude, it's stupid. It's stupid. We've been talking about it all season long, and Bryce Young, it has been the clear number 1 pick in my eyes.
Right.
He is, it's not like, he's the missing piece, because we need way more pieces than just a quarterback, but he is the step in the right direction. He looks like a field general out there, a playmaker. He will get you, he would make his teammates better. Us trying to experiment, trade down or just wait on other potential picks. We all know what the right move is. Just make it. Just make it. Live and die by it. I just cannot. We had I feel like we had a solid draft last year. Let's continue that. Like, I feel like the whole fan base would back me when most of the fan base would back me when I say this. Bryce Young is the guy. Ríos has been saying it from day one. And as much as I wanted to, put some hope in Mills, Ríos was right, and I'll admit it. He's the guy. Bryce Young is the guy, and we need him. I feel like anything but that would be a stupid decision, unless he gets injured tomorrow. God forbid.
I mean, no, I agree. I think that Bryce Young it has to be the pick that the Texans make, because at the end of the day, man, I know that a lot of people say he's undersized or he's underweight, but like Ríos brought it up last weekend,
he has the potential to be like one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Exactly, he's very high. He has very high football IQ, man. Like, this guy is a thing. I'm pretty sure this guy is one of those guys that you want to build your team around.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. And then the best part is this: you got like John Mechie there, who hopefully comes back next year. You already have a connection there with him, and you got Dameon Pierce. That's a solid little core foundation. We've been saying that, and the fact that
like you got pieces in place on
you got pieces there, yeah. And then only these guys that you got, Ahmad Green is going to get. Green is going to get a lot better next season. By the way, speaking of Green, I want to give a shout out to Miss Kim, who we met over there at the Cowboys Stadium.
She was fun, man.
Miss Kim, I'm sending you a shout out. Thank you for being such an awesome lady, such a gentle soul. If you don't know Miss Kim told us while we were in line to get margaritas, don't ask, at the Cowboys Stadium. We let her cut through because there was a lot of fans and nobody noticed it that we let her cut through. That was the best part. Yeah. She was telling us about Green being number 59 for the Texans, being her neighbor I guess their neighbor there in Tuscaloosa. It was really cool. Really? Such a gentle soul. Thank you so much. We also met his uncle outside of the Texans tailgate. It was hilarious. We met a bunch of Green family, and so but yeah, this is a shout out to you, Miss Kim. Thank you for being such a gentle soul and sharing your story there with us. It was awesome. But going back to our point, yeah, you're gonna have a better O-line, or a much more developed O-line. Still, the center position is still a question. I think that you need somebody to cover that interior line for whoever the quarterback is. You do have to address that. You also have to address alignment. You have to have somebody at the defensive line that's going to be a guy that's going to be out there. It's going to be almost as scary. Now, is that hard to get? Of course it is. But you need at least somebody, another presence there that can help your defensive line.
But we got 2 first-round picks this year, right?
Yeah, right now Cleveland's pick is outside the top 10. who knows how their season ends, but you got the picks in place to move up if you needed a guy. Like my biggest wish is we get, Bryce Young at number 1 and, trade up in the top 5 and get either like Jalen Carter or Will Anderson from Alabama, like 2 monsters on defense. Like that's dream scenario because you got the draft capital to move up higher in the first round with your second first rounder. Like you got the ammunition. Let's just got to basically seeing where you land with that second first rounder. Because
that's the thing. You got to get those like, players with elite potential, with like NFL ready type of potential, and then you find you fill up the holes here and there. But just like you're saying, like if we can get Bryce Young number 1, and then just straight up, and just fix the rest of our defense, the rest of our O-line.
So
the possibilities are endless, but the main thing is the quarterback. There's no two ways about it, like at all.
So let's just say after the quarterback position, what would be
a kicker?
Yeah. What would be your next? All right. So we talked about Bryce Young. We already know what the Texans need to get, in our opinion, right? So what would be the next position that they should get? Now, Ríos, I know you said the from Alabama. What if he's not available? Would you go with somebody like Jalen Carter from Georgia?
Well, I think both of those guys probably go in the top 5.
Right.
They're good. So if just to say, for example, we can't get into the top 5, we're picking lower, like 9, 10 in the first round. I go receiver. I would go receiver. I would go with Addison. He's probably the receiver in the draft.
Okay.
Build around your quarterback. Give him a weapon besides Mechie, because Brandon Cooks is not going to be here next year. That's pretty evident at this point.
What about Quentin Johnson from TCU?
It depends where you pick in the draft. Honestly, if you're like at 10,
if he's available, like let's say by the bottom, like the 10.
Let's say if Addison's still there, I'll go with Addison over Quentin Johnson. Now, if Addison's gone, then I'll take a chance on Quentin Johnson. He's again build around the quarterback because there's going to be no pieces as far as like defense at that point that a top early first round pick. So you go Addison. I mean, you can go with Quentin Johnson if he's still.
Since you're a little bit more familiar with the college football, Ríos, is there any like good maybe sleeper picks on that second round as far as defense goes for us?
It's a pretty solid draft as far as second round defensive guys. Honestly, you can pick it later, honestly, because we're going to be picking early in the second round. Also, you can get whatever you want. There's a lot of places you can fill holes because we have the draft capital, especially if this kind of guy they love, they're like in love with. Hey, you can trade some of those, day 3 picks, move up more into the second round or third round, and fill out your roster with elite talent.
So I feel like our first 3 to 4 picks are really gonna dictate how we do next year. Like definitely.
Yeah. And that's why it's a mistake to wait for Caleb Williams in 2024 because like just say they go defense first round. And they built the roster and they win, 6-7 games. You're not picking in the top 10.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do? Because there's no way this team, because the NFL is a business. There's no way Caceres is going to risk his job to, take a gamble. Let me get a number 1 pick again next year. There's just no way.
What do you think about the linebacker position? Like we need a linebacker. Like yesterday. No, we need a linebacker too. Like there's so many positions that the Texans need right now that it's almost like pick
your poison basically. No, the secondary is, I think it's pretty solid. They're lacking on the defensive line and linebacker position.
Yeah. We know this is gonna be like a 3-4 year rebuild.
Yeah,
in order to get to where we want to get.
So. I would say probably by year 3, not this draft or maybe by the next draft, like they're going to be competitive enough to maybe fight for a wild card. It's going to be the 3rd year in Bryce Young's rookie season. I mean, year 3 in Bryce Young's contract where we can actually be competitive and see where this roster goes.
So right before the contract extension,
right before you got to pay him, basically.
Yeah.
So about 2 years to build this roster.
Right.
But at that point, you have a lot of guys on rookie contracts, so you can do some damage in the playoffs if you build this roster right. But again, it's going to take the right coaching staff because they're not there in the building right now. Like the whole coaching staff, they're going to clean house. They're all going to be fired.
Do you think we should maybe try to throw some money at some free agents, Like,
Not this.
or do you think we should just strictly stick to the draft for now?
This offseason, just stick to the draft.
Oh, this upcoming one for sure. But like, once we get Bryce Young, do you want to try to be competitive right away, or do you just want to give it some more time?
No, this
because I'm thinking like you said, like 4 years, like at least.
I would say 3 years. I would say so. This offseason, no, just focus on the draft. The following, once you see what you have in Bryce Young and see what you need, what pieces you need to make a competitive roster on offense and defense, then from there, that's when you start, because you're going to have a ton of cap space this year and next season. So just, I would say wait and see with the rookie class and see what you got, and then from there, plug the holes with these, big name free agents, and hey, you could be competitive in 3 years.
Yeah, that's the dream, man. That's the dream.
Because they got the pieces in place already. You have the cap space. It's just putting it all.
I'm telling you, Bryce Young is going to walk into a team and he's going to make everybody 10 times the players they are right now. Like,
oh yeah,
especially like somebody like Pierce, and if we can get like a good wide receiver to go along with them.
To go with Mechie and Nico Collins. Like, I've been advocating for Bryce Young since last year.
Yeah,
and I mean he wasn't eligible for the draft last year, but I was like watching all those Alabama kids, like, this kid's gonna be special, man. Like, this is someone we need to get. I said the same thing about Deshaun Watson watching him in college. Like, this is, you can tell like a lot of times who's gonna be special, who's not. And more times than not, I'm usually right about who's gonna be special.
The thing about Watson was that people were criticizing that he wasn't playing like really good competition in college, right?
Yeah. Well, that is turnovers.
Turnovers, yeah, that were pretty bad.
He's very turnover. Bryce Young is the opposite. I think Bryce Young is a better draft prospect than Watson was, because he's.
You go that.
He looks like
he's more poised in the pocket. He plays better competition and less turnovers. The only I can promise you, if Bryce Young was 6'3" and 220, there'd be no questions about him being number 1 overall.
No question whatsoever.
Like, trade his size for Stroud's size, there'd be zero questions about him number 1.
What's the difference? What's the high difference between him and Stroud?
So with Stroud, he has basically like 10 seconds of the ball. Like, he has one of the best lines in football. He has the top receiver in football. He has Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, he has the best receiver in college football. And again, the level of competition in the Big Ten versus the SEC is way different. SEC, especially like teams like Georgia, that's NFL-ready defenses with college kids. And Ohio State, like, the level of competition they face, it's not as tough as the SEC. And again, he has all day to throw the ball. He's never really had to like go through adversity. Like with Bryce Young, especially this year, they've had one of their worst seasons as far as like talent on the offensive side of the ball. It's basically him making plays. He doesn't have like a Jameson Williams or a Mechie out there to help him out, and especially with the running backs and the offensive line. Like, it's been a lot of him running for his life, and he still makes
the plays. That's the crazy thing.
He put up
that's exactly what we need.
He put up similar numbers as it is his Heisman winning season. It's just they lost a couple games and kind of took him out of the running.
So can we all agree that it's going to be Bryce Young or nothing?
I agree.
It has to be.
Has to be.
Yeah, I agree.
You listening?
Yeah.
You listening, front office?
Yeah, I know you're listening, bro.
Let them know.
Oh, man.
Hey, really quick. One of the things I want to talk about. So I'm looking at some of the free agents that are going to be available in 2023 right after the season is over. Now, let's look at
right after this season.
After this NFL season in 2023 and 2024. Now, I was looking at one that stood out, and now hear me out really quick on this, okay? And I'm probably wrong, but whatever.
I don't care.
You're probably wrong.
Yeah, it's a kicker, of course. No, I'm looking at Josh Jacobs. What do you guys think of having like a little dual threat? Josh, but do you think he's going to go for like to get paid from that? Do you think it'd be something? But we have like cap space right now. That's the thing.
We could afford it, but I think it's too early right now.
We could afford him, but it's a mistake.
It's not the time. It's not the time.
You got running back 1 in Pierce. You don't need another.
No, I know. I mean, somebody to like, give him something like a break. I know that Marlon Mack was supposed to be that guy this year, but we didn't get much production. And Eno Benjamin, I was kind of happy, and they let him go.
Well, Pierce and Jacobs, they're similar runners. They're powerful runners down the middle. Like, they're not like sideline to sideline. Like, they're gonna pound the ball. Like you need a guy that's gonna complement Pierce. So you want a guy that's kind of like a scat back. You can line up in the shotgun, catch passes out of the backfield. Bring a different element that Pierce doesn't bring. That's kind of what you want to look for, and I wouldn't do it with the free agent. Like, you can probably find that in the draft.
So if you were going to true. So if you were going to choose somebody like as a free agent, what position would be the most important?
Trenches.
Okay.
I would say if you're going to go quarterback number one, you want to build up your line. Look for a guy at center or one of the guard positions to basically shore up that offensive line, or on the defensive line. Those are two positions you want to focus on as far as big name free agents.
Yeah, you want to protect the quarterback.
They're going to be more developed than a college kid. Like, you want to protect your investment as far as your quarterback.
Right, of course. So that would make sense. So get something like a piece, like either a center or somebody like that.
A guard,
or a guard.
Because those are positions you can find as free agents versus like the draft. Because like the draft, like again, these kids are having to learn to go against world-class athletes versus like a guy's already 3 or 4 years under a free agent. You can plug them in, and especially like these top name guys in the trenches. Like that's where you build your team, the trenches.
Yeah, like if we had to pick like two positions, I would definitely pick somebody on the O-line. Hopefully more than just one, but yeah, definitely the O-line. And then, I mean, if we have the money to spend in a few years, I would like an elite wide receiver. I feel like that would be amazing because every single great team has an elite wide receiver. So, like, if we're gonna get like hopefully what could become an elite quarterback, we need to give him the weapons.
That he needs in order to succeed.
Once we make the decision to fully go competitive, that's when we need to throw the money at somebody. I don't know who's going to be available maybe 2-3 years from now.
Yeah,
but it's got to be somebody who has done it hopefully not somebody like on the older side, but somebody who can stay on the timeline that we're building right now.
Yeah,
someone that's coming out of the rookie contract and they're ready to get sign their first big deal. That's
exactly somebody who's actually
exactly. That makes sense. All right, y'all. It's about that time. We're into this about an hour, so don't forget to check us out on the Spaces this weekend at.
I'll try and listen. I'm working. I'm definitely working, but I'll try and listen. Oh wait, this weekend.
Yeah,
this weekend.
Sunday.
Yes, Sunday.
Shit, I might be able to join you guys then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be out of town this weekend.
Where are you going?
Well, it's my sister's graduation. That's why.
Oh.
So I'm gonna be out of town Friday and maybe Saturday, but I'll definitely be here Sunday. And I took the day off. Also, it's the World Cup final, so can't miss that.
True.
All right. I'll definitely be able to join you guys on the Spaces then.
Real quick, World Cup predictions. Who's winning the final?
France.
Well, definitely. Like honestly, if France advances, it's definitely France. But we won't know until tomorrow.
I'm gonna go dark horse. Morocco.
If it's Morocco,
dude,
I'm going Morocco.
Yeah, like, honestly, if Morocco wins it, that's unexpected.
Honestly, I'll be happy if whoever wins it, except for France. I don't want France to go back.
No, we all know
they're too good. They're too good, and I hate it.
Hey, we all know it's going to be Argentina.
No,
I'll take it too.
That gets more money.
Salty all you want. You can be salty all you want.
If it's Argentina, that's that Qatar Airways money.
Like if it happens, you will never hear the end of it from me. Always.
Why is it Messi playing for Venezuela?
I wish. I wish, bro.
I didn't know
you almost cried. What was it?
I know you're from Qatar.
All right, y'all.
But yeah, no, definitely I'll be there. I'll be able to join you guys Sunday. I can play for
God. Faces out from Wager Wire, powered by Wager Wire at 9 a.m. this Sunday. We're going to be talking a little bit more Texans. Hopefully, our conversation gets as heated as it did last time. That was a lot of fun. Let's do that.
No Saints fans, please.
Yeah, apparently Poppy feels a certain way about Saints fans. So, really quick, after that, if to check us out on those Spaces, you got to be following us on Twitter. So, follow us on Twitter at JustFans22, and of course, follow us on that Tickety Talk at
be quiet.
Just Fans.
I can't.
2022. Follow us because I think is what the cool kids say now because we are lit. Is that correct?
Oh, shut the fuck up.
It is fire.
I don't condone any of this.
It is fire. It is
Making us look lame. Stop it, sir.
what's another thing that the cool kids say nowadays? Hype. Right? Are you peeing?
Can we end it? Can we use end it? Can we use end it?
Right? It is hype. It is lit down here. That's what's going on.
We don't associate with this old man
What's
over
going
here.
on in the streets, yo. That's what it is. I'm gonna stop.
I feel
You sound older than Ríos right now.
I'm one of y'all. Don't listen to what they say. I'm one of y'all. I go to college.
All right, man. All right.
Built the college. All right, y'all. Well, you're the mascot of a college.
I mean, it pays pretty well, apparently. So
no. All right.
Goodbye, y'all.
Yeah, we gotta end this. This is getting too dumb. This is getting too dumb now.